Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we are going to talk about specifically We Have a Ghost, the new 2023 Netflix blockbuster. Now, what do I mean by this is a new term. It's just coming from me. Netflix blockbuster. One of their movies that costs a lot of money, right, and also clearly is coming from within Netflix, and Netflix is driving it. The way you know We Have a Ghost, by the way, spoilers for We Have a Ghost in this content. The way you know We Have a Ghost is a in-house Netflix film, in that it doesn't matter who made it. Like, Netflix is highly invested in the success of this film. David Harbour's in this, right? And so David Harbour is an absolute Netflix rock star. He is in Stranger Things, and he is the anchor of that show, right? He keeps that show from drifting off and, smashing into a storm, right? Like, without him, that show really doesn't work. And I think they understand that, and so they're giving him this movie as like, hey, you're going to make a whole bunch of movies, as many shows and many movies as you want, David Harbour. Like, and the reason why is they are making bank. Every streamer is trying to recreate Stranger Things, right? And Netflix has it, right? And Netflix is recreating Stranger Things at Netflix, right? Wednesday is a smash hit, right? And is going to have at least 2 or 3 more very solid seasons, and people are flocking to watch it, right? So let's talk about We Have a Ghost and what it means for Dungeons and Dragons. So first of all, We Have a Ghost is a brilliant film. It takes a monster seriously. So the entire structure of We Have a Ghost is, what if a ghost was real, right? And the whole movie just goes forward. And I love this film because it's like, if a single ghost existed on Earth and could be documented, it would change life forever. That's correct. Like, one of the questions right now that Dungeons and Dragons answers soundly. Right now, you walk up to an American and say, "Is God real?" And like, I would say 90% will say no. I'm an atheist or an agnostic. God's not real. And then 10% evangelical Christians will say, "Yep, God's real," right? And you'll also get some Catholics in there, and you'd be like, if you ask them, they'd be like, "Yeah, God's real." And it's like, "Did you go to church on Sunday?" No. Like, I don't know. I'm saying it, but I'm not acting like it, right? Like, it's like, Catholics identify as Christian, and you don't have to go to church to be Christian, right? But it's a good indicator you are. Or and I think Catholicism is like a large group of people who like identify with the thing but don't do the thing, right? Tell me if I'm wrong there. I'd love to hear it, right? I'm willing to listen, right? But generally, I think a lot more Catholics don't go to church than do go to church, or even practice any part of their religion. Like, it's just like a concept to them rather than a thing, right? It's a whole thing. That's why I'm called a Protestant, or I'm a Protestant, right? So basically, We Have a Ghost comes from a perspective of, what if a ghost is real? And the thing I loved about this, and the thing that we need to think about in Dungeons and Dragons, is the way this movie approached dealing with this monster, right? So the way it dealt with it was like, ghosts are real, okay? And let's start there, right? And there's no question, we're not going to hint that there's a ghost. We're going to show it to you, and then we're going to have the proof of the ghost be shown to the world, right? And what can they do? And so then it's like, ghosts are real. Let's set that fact on a shelf, right? And also, to be clear, Dungeons and Dragons is like supernatural. There's no debate in Dungeons and Dragons whether supernatural is real, right? That debate exists in our real world, but it doesn't exist in Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm telling you, we really haven't unpacked that. Like, we really, as a community, as a D&D community, we haven't really unpacked the spiritual ramifications of D&D and saying, atheists and agnostics, you all suck. They don't exist in this world. You can shove off, right? There's no atheists or agnostics in any Dungeons and Dragons realm. Period. Ending sentence. Except what? Wait, what? There is one. Dark Sun. No reprint. Oh yeah, right? And so D&D design teams having a conversation. They're like, you know what? Dark Sun can kick rocks. We're going to keep it so that spirituality and supernatural exists. And the reason why is we can't have a magic system if supernatural doesn't exist. It's ridiculous, right? Like, this isn't Marvel claiming that, Thor's hammer is science, right? Like, this is some sad sack, poster on the wall that says, "Oh, you can't tell the difference between magic and science." They're different. And D&D is like, we're going to make them different, right? Like, highly different, right? Like, and it's not going to be a question. So then We Have a Ghost proceeds forward. So they're like, ghosts are real. What are their powers? They can turn invisible. They can go through and they can pass through tangible objects like walls, right? They can interact with tangible objects in a limited way, right? In addition to that, they're stuck. They are only in this world because they are disrupted. Their emotions are disrupted. Their intellect is disrupted. Their spirit is disrupted. And as soon as that stickiness is resolved, they transfer on to the next realm. We don't have to answer that question now of what the realm is, but they move on, right? These are the rules that are set within We Have a Ghost, right? And this is what we learn, right? We deal with Dungeons & Dragons, and we have ghosts within Dungeons & Dragons. Lidara, at the end of Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen, is a ghost. What can she do? Every single thing she can do aligns with the rules that we see in We Have a Ghost. And the reason why is there are cultural boundaries around ghosts, right? And Dungeons & Dragons says we're going to use ghosts in our stories, right? And we're going to abide by the American cultural concepts of ghosts, right? So there's an agreement that the concept of, so D&D completely aligns with We Have a Ghost. Everything for Lidara completely matches what the ghost in We Have a Ghost can do, right? And that's really interesting. And that's the other thing is we as Dungeon Masters have to accept the thing as real, right? In order to use it in our story, right? There can't be ambiguity, right? We have to know the rules of the thing, and we have to abide by the rules of the thing. And the reason why is if we don't do that without very good reason and without infrastructure built to break the rules, then what we're doing is we're communicating ignorance or laziness to our players, and they will go find a new dungeon master. Every word of that is my humble opinion. Have you seen We Have a Ghost? This thing is a banger. You've got to check this out if you're a dungeon master. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.